We're just going to talk about really, this is just our story, but our journey began in gardens and on urban farms, restoring tired soils and transforming forgotten spaces into thriving ecosystems. We grew alongside families, schools, and cities, building more than landscapes. We nurtured health, we cultivated connection, we designed with purpose. It's not just sustainability, it's regeneration. And it's talked about a lot where the term sustainability is used, and we have to actually regenerate before we can sustain, else we just sustain a bad environment. But my passion really begins with the link between organic and health. And it's interesting, I tell all our staff when they come into the business, it will take about a year for them to find the thing that they're truly passionate about. They might like organics, but for some it's health, some it's flavor foods, it's agriculture. We've got a very mixed team. But for mine, actually, in my early 20s, my boyfriend at the time, ex-boyfriend now, not my husband now, was diagnosed with a stage 4 melanoma cancer at 22. And so I set out because I understood organic and I understood the natural system and the way that we should be living, eating, all of that. And I think that's really where my passion developed. No child ever wants to work for their parents, just have to say. Not at that age, not when you're 21, 22 years old. But I think that was just a major change for me to realize that what we're doing, we're really trying to change things out there. We really are adding value. If it's one person that understands that they have to do things differently and it impacts them, well, then I think I've lived my life's purpose. I say sometimes that I think I should be ready to retire now because I've worked with both parents for almost 20 years. All right, so our ethos and our slogan, well, on our full group is growing health, and it's really healthy soil, healthy plants, healthy people. And it seems such a simple concept, but let me tell you, we have got so far from understanding what this actually means. We, Helen, myself, Grant, all of us, Jenny, Mark, JH, we sit in meetings all the time, and I think us specifically on the urban side, whether we're with retailers, with farmers, with growers, it doesn't matter who, training in stores, we are seeing people sick all the time. If we have an hour meeting, we're perhaps talking for 40 minutes of that hour about how sick people are. And I don't want to bring the negatives, but we've got to understand what needs to change. And we've got to understand that how we've lived in the past couple of decades apart from nature is not working for us. It's not bringing health. It's actually bringing disease, or as we like to call it, dis-ease. Okay, so dis-ease, where a lot of us are living in dis-ease, when a plant's sick or the hohos are attacking it, the bugs are attacking it, we look for stress, and that's what we as Talborne do. We address that stress and help you, our customers, and our home gardeners, our farmers, all of that, to address that stress, to change that condition, and to bring that plant out of dis-ease. Yet in our bodies, we keep on taking chronic medication that then as a side effect, we have more chronic medication, and the cycle just keeps going. So, healthy soil. And if we look at soil, so much of our medicine these days originated in the soil. Penicillins, ivermectins, all of that came from the soil. Our gut microbiome, I don't know if any of you remember the picture that Mark put up earlier with all the pictures of the little life in the soil. That's only something we're starting to understand now. I mean, we know in cutting-edge agriculture around the world, I was reading an article probably sometime late last year where top soil scientists in first world countries are finding out that nitrogen was not taken up the way that they thought it was for the past 80 to 100 years. So I always say when we look at that picture of the soil life, and I didn't bring it up again here unfortunately, but we can't forget that. We can never forget that slide. Now I always say to everyone we train, now you've seen it, you can never forget it. And that really is where we get our gut health from. We get our microbiome from interacting with the soil, from having food that is grown in healthy soil. All right, so why? So what do? We must feed the soil to feed the plants. Okay, all that life in the soil is living. A lot of people are putting down all the microbes. It's a big new thing in especially agriculture, but we're not feeding the microbes. So microbes without food, like any living thing without food, is going to die off. Talborne products are a balanced nutrient feed. So like a vitamin, bottle, and we shouldn't need so many vitamins and supplements and all of that. We're needing all of these things because our food is lacking minerals, nutrients. We talk about in our gardens, as on farms, we are mining the soil. We're extracting everything, but we're putting nothing back. What would your bank account look like if you did withdrawals all the time, but you never made any deposits? Right? Eventually we get to a point where there's nothing left, and that's what's happened in our soils. So, we'll quickly buy cheap food or, grow stuff, not put any nutrient down, not really worry about it, eat some of that, and say that putting down nutrition is expensive. Putting down compost and mulches and some good organic fertilizer expensive. But yet we're happy to go to Dis-Chem and spend $1,000, $2,000 a month on all the supplements and nutrients and things that our bodies need to cope efficiently, for us to actually be healthy. So what you put into your soil, your body takes up from your food. And I mean, Jenny, I've been with her many times, all of us, on farms where the farmer will not eat the food that he's producing for the market. Jenny was on a potato farm years ago, and I'm bringing this in because it's so important. We don't understand what's going on in our food systems. But she was on this farm in Limpopo. The farmer was busy putting down Temic for all the nematodes in the soil because the soil was buggered. And Temic is so toxic that, if a pet is poisoned with Temic or something, a vet has to come and remove it because it can kill you if you just touch that. Jenny asked him, so do you eat these potatoes that you grow and supply into the market? So he says to her, no, definitely not. And he takes her and he says, come with me, I'll show you my organic potatoes that I grow here for my family. We don't eat the stuff we supply. And there's something wrong where our farmers don't have any ethical or moral or legal requirement to actually grow good quality food. So the quote, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Does anyone know when and why this, apart from if you've heard it in our training, then you're not allowed to say anything. Does anyone know where this term was actually coined? Anyone? No? Okay, in 1914, you got all your nutrients that you needed in a day from one apple. That's where it came from. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. You'd be healthy. In 2015, and I mean now we're 10 years later, in 2015, it was 23 apples a day that you needed to get the same nutrients that you would have got in 1914. And then we wonder, 100 years ago, and then we wonder why we're sick, why there's dis-ease. So obviously from an urban perspective, the same products that we're selling out there to our farmers to bring good quality production, high yields, is the same thing we're bringing home to the home gardeners. Growing your own food is really one of the best things that you can do for your health and the benefits of homegrown food security. I mean, the best thing for me is to go into my garden, pick some lettuce, pick some herbs. It's all there. I mean, you go to the shop, buy lettuce, put it in the fridge, and don't make your salad, and then your lettuce is off. Out of our little garden, we've got a food forest, a little garden, a veggie garden. I think I planted 6 gem squash. And 2 years ago, December, in 2 days, I harvested 55 gem squash. I think I took off about 200 gem squash off my 6 little seedlings. And yes, I didn't plant them from seed because I was late on my seedling planting. But, I phoned my mom, I phoned my gran, I phoned everybody I knew to give me some gem squash recipes. Because what do you do with 55 gem squash in 2 days? And everyone, I would offer them out and everyone would say, oh, we'll have 4. I'm like, don't you want 8? But, we handed them out to the neighbors, to the colleagues, to everybody, and I really believe that food should be shared. Good quality food should be shared. Also, aubergines, I had about 200 coming out of my garden. I usually say 250, but my husband says it's an exaggeration, so 200. But really what it gives us is healthier food, superior flavor, and I tell you, my aubergines are that size and they're beautiful, and you go into a shop, I can't find anything like that, especially even organically grown. I just can't find something that matches the quality. That's just the mineral depletion in our food. So this is from 1910 to just on 2015, and you see the rates of all the minerals and nutrients and things depleting. So no wonder our bodies just aren't operating the way that they should. We're malnourished. And then just leading into Helen's, because all my team's looking at me, that means my time is up. But, just looking at and again, not the negatives, I'm bringing this up to say that we need to be educated. We can't be naive. We need to understand what's going on in something as critical as our food sources and food systems. But a lot of these things are the toxic effects of pesticides, of synthetic fertilizers. And, as Jenny always says, if you're diagnosed with cancer, the oncologist often tells you afterwards that you must go and change your diet to an organic diet. Why didn't they tell you that decades before the cancer developed in the first place?